Welcome everyone to our Let's Play of Songs of Six. I just want to start off by saying I am a novice of Songs of Six. I've only played about 50 hours now, mostly in like version 62, 63, a little bit of 64, and I wanted to bring it to the channel. So if you are looking for some Songs of Six gameplay that's really impressive, you probably won't find it here. We are just a novice. We are playing the brand new early access version 65. This thing is being updated every few days or so as Jake goes through and finds bugs. This game is quite impressive for a few reasons. I did mention Jake. He is, or was at least, the sole developer of this game. So he's built this thing from the ground up, extremely ambitious. It's incredible what he's done with this game. So just want to give a shout out to him as well. He does have an artist now, and I believe the artist's works are in this edition as well, so it looks a lot more polished. But this update brings a lot of changes, makes things a lot easier, makes some other things harder, but we'll go through it and see what we can build. So just in case you don't know what Songs of Six is, it is probably the best city-state builder made by man. Fair enough? Let's start playing the game. So when you go into play, you can load, do a tutorial. I don't even know if the tutorial works, but you just want to do a random game. We can change difficulty for things, furnishing, pacifism, robustness is how well buildings stand up to the weather and, elements and whatnot. Conservation, I actually don't know what that is. Oh, spoilage rate, gotcha. And then whether or not people are happy. We'll leave it all at default. That's fine. So in here you get to choose your initial species. This will be your plebeians, plebs. That's what we call them on the internet. And there's 6 different races. We've got Crotonians over here. They're basically like your farming orcs. And it also shows down here what they're good at, as well as the initial challenge level. They're not good at industry, but they're great at farming. Dondorians are basically like your bread and butter dwarves. They like stone. They're hardy in combat, mentally stable and lawful, so they usually do not cause riots in your cities. But they're difficult to please, just like the loader dwarf. We have Garthemi here. I think these guys are like I've never actually played with them. I think they're like bug people. Anyway, they breed fast. They have low demands, but they aren't really that good at fighting. They'll flee quickly. So, and they don't know what knowledge works. what knowledge, skills like learning in this game is done with a laboratory, and so workers in there will produce points that you use to research, and apparently they're quite bad at that. That's fine. Humans are actually a medium challenge, so apparently they are good at science, farming, and whatnot, but they're not really good at battle, and they're also very criminal, just like real life. Amevias are like your lizard folks. These are, I guess, a really new race. They haven't been around for very long. They've been around since I started playing, but they like being around the rivers, must live close to sweet water, and they don't like other people, other species. But they're very good at fighting, too. And then you have the Tilapi, which are basically like your elves. But they are very violent, and they dislike other species. And to me, actually, I like the elves. This is my favorite species, so we'll probably play this one. They're excellent woodcutters, herders. They're good at ranged combat as well, and they're violent. I don't know why that's a disadvantage. We want violent people in this world, all right? And we want to control them. So we'll choose Tilapi. The reason why we have this option here is because we're going to start with 10 villagers here in a bit, and so you just want to choose which one you start with. You don't necessarily need to stick with just Tilapi. You can have all 6 in here. but the new edition of the game does make it so that this is more difficult to pull off and is it's very much less likely to happen in the world organically. People are a little bit more racist in this version, which is a-okay with us. I don't know. Can you say that on YouTube? I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, you can choose a map type here, and it'll show you the landforms and the water and whatnot. I find these to be kind of distasteful for the most part. I mean, maybe one or two of these would be nice. I think a lot of these just have too much water, you know, for the most part, I think is why I don't like them. This one's okay, but I actually prefer just to let it put in a random seed and generate. You could also change the latitude if you know you want to be in a more southern, which is warm climate, versus a northern, colder one. You can do that there and change the number there, or plus and minus. So, but anyway, we'll just generate with this number, see what we get. So initially, we just have to place our capital. As you can see, there's nothing on the map. It's just us trying to figure out where we want to be. There's a lot of different nodes on the map that you can see here. And these are like natural resources that we can find. Like up here is gems. So when we move our capital over here, at the bottom of this window it says gem +2. So there's 2 spots of gems. And then over here is 3. Same thing with stone and all these other things like coal and ore. If you remember from our race, the Tilapi do like to be woodcutters, hunters, and whatnot. They like bow and arrow and all that fun stuff. They also like sweet water. So we're going to look for a place that has a lot of sweet water. This is a decent spot, but when you hover over it, it will give you information down here, like the climate, what pasture types will do well here, and aurochs are really good. So we will want a place that has a positive to auroch pastures, if at all possible. It'll also show the fertility amount and then how much sweet water, forest, and land type accesses we have. So we're going to look for a spot that's really good on that. This place does have a lot of sweet water, but as you can see below it, it also gives you some clues on what types of challenges you'll face. So few of your own species nearby means that you know, it's going to be hard to immigrate people in, as far as I understand. And then a spot without any mineable resources will be more difficult because we have to trade for everything then. And you pretty much do need every resource out there. Not all, but most resources are useful in some manner. You can do without some of them, but it's a little bit harder. And then when you come up here, you can see the temperature, the climate becomes cold. Our hygiene improves, and we get bonuses and negatives to certain types of you know, farms and whatnot. So this is a very distinct option for us if we wanted to settle here. But right at the top, it says we don't prefer the cold, so we're going to skip that. We're looking for something like down here. This might be perfect. And then what we can do here, if we want, we can set... let's see. This spot might be good too. Yeah, we want a lot of forest too. There's a lot of open land here as well. There's no mineable resources, so we will have to trade for stuff. But I think this is a pretty good spot. What we can do, by the way, if you want to not really cheat, but sort of like make things easier for yourself, you can come up here to this button to edit the terrain, and you can actually add resources here. So we can add, you know, like clay right there. We could also add stone in if we wanted to make sure that we had some stone. And then now when we hover over it, as you can see, we have both clay and stone access in abundance. By the way, when you spawn in as well, you will get resources that do not fall in those two lists. You know, clay and stone in this case. It's just, they may not be very abundant. You know, you might get just a little bit of it. So that's something to keep in mind. So in this map, though, right in about the middle, we should have some clay on the right-hand side of the map. Should have some stone in the upper left-hand corner of the map. But it's not exactly a mountain. So we could build a small mountain here. Or not. Oh. Okay, apparently I did it and we just can't see it. So let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, okay, so there's just a small 2.4% of the map is mountain. Perfect. I think we'll stick with that. Alright, so we'll place the capital. It generates the world and basically fills in all of your neighbors. So here we are, Eckrift. We can change the name if we want. And then we have our neighbors over here like Laumadia, who are a group of Cretonians. Those are like the farming orc type people. They're actually good people, the orcs. They're pretty, docile and that kind of thing. We are completely surrounded by Cretonians. So, we are in the middle of Farmsville, basically. These guys are just going to be farmers. We could regenerate the world. It'll keep all of our stuff the same, as well as the general layout, but it will completely respawn, like, who's around us. So yet again, we've got just a bunch of Cretonians. And then also, by the way, when you hover over your capital, you can see the routes that exist in the game. One of the routes is along the river. You can see the arrows pointing down through the river to our south. So we will be able to ship that route. And then we also have a path going to the left, which is down here to Janandra. And then also up here to the right, which is Lura. I'm going to regenerate it one more time. See if we get a better arrangement. Okay, Vorkia is like right here next to us. It looks like we're going to be stuck with Cretonians. So that's fine. Anyway, it looks like we can use the river path to, to reach Vorkia here. I am going to regenerate one more time. I like a city being that close to me. They get dispatched whenever they want, you know? Okay, we have okay, in this one we have... This looks more fun. We've got, what is this, humans? A huge human civilization called Hoogland. Humanland. Actually, no, wait. We're going to... This is... Oh, never mind. Of course, it's Cretonians. Never mind. Hoogland is right after it. Or right next to it. So we've got 1,000 Cretonians right next to us. Another 1,000 Cretonians to our south. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be okay. Looks like these are the only two people that we can trade with. So hopefully they'll provide us with food, most likely. We're going to have to come up with everything else, I think. And there's a free land right over here, so it's occupied by no major power. You can see when you mouse over their capital, they have a whole area that's dedicated to them. So this is their region. And this is important because the larger your region, the more you'll be able to support like an army from the various villages inside this area. You don't actually control them necessarily. I think there is some means to influence it, but for the most part, they're autonomous, just population centers for you, so that you can create an army later on. Anyway, I think we'll go with this. I'm not sure I really like our neighbors, but it doesn't look like we have an option, so we'll just click OK. And the game will generate. Alright. So, first things first, you can see our mountain up here. It's very dark. And inside of it we have coal. We have a bit of ore, some gems, and even some Sithalon. This is rare stuff. This might be an export for us. It looks like quite a lot of it. We've even got some more gems over there, so we're actually loaded with this small mountain that we have. We've got, on the map here, you can see this is grain, some veggies, some mushrooms, more veggies. Here's that clay that we put down. Oh yeah, here's more of it too. And then there's wild creatures out there too. Some more vicious than others. And then you have the roads. These are now part of this version. We do have road access, and these roads actually lead to the other settlements that we saw just now in the region map. So these are actually, there's a purpose for them. And the people coming from those other places will actually come along the road like they should. So this is much more realistic than the previous version, where I think they kind of all spawn on the same side or something, or it's like fixed, like a fixed point that they'll spawn in on. So yeah, so we have the roads here. One thing that we can do, if we zoom in more, we can see up here in the upper right-hand corner, we have options to filter down on the map in our display here. One of them is overlays, and this is really useful. I want to highlight it because you can look at fertility, water, a bunch of stuff that we're going to use later on. The most important is fertility, though. So what we want to do is we want to settle nearby a spot that's really fertile, but we don't necessarily want to settle right on the fertile land, if that makes sense. So I think this around here is a good spot. So we're pretty close to fertile land over here to the right. We could also go over here, actually. I kind of like this spot up here, actually, now. So we'll be able to build, like, a lot of our city stuff, like, in the center here. And then we can pull water from this canal here in order to make some farms and whatnot. We'll be pretty close to the wild, the forageables up here. Not sure if I want to be that close to that stuff. We could also start building up here, too, but then we're going to run out of space because of this mountain. Interesting. We could just build, like, right next to the road, too. We'll kind of think about this here, see what we want to do. It is worth a while to take your time here and kind of figure it out, too. Let's see. By the way, you can always right-click this to remove the overlays window. We will put it back on, though. Let's see. I guess, yeah, I mean, I suppose we could just, because we can just bring water in over here and kind of do some farming. This should be fine. Okay, let's, yeah, let's start by building right here, I think. Let's actually be a little bit more north. Okay, there we go. So we'll just click in place, and here we have our throne. This is the key building in your settlement. If attackers come, they're going to be targeting the throne. Of course, they'll, try to engage your soldiers and whatnot first, but for the most part, the throne is their objective. If they reach and sack your throne, they win, usually. And then they will steal your stuff. And then usually run away. So, as you can see here, it's our seat of power. Don't lose it. Don't cut it off. There's a little entrance right here. You can see it's like a... I guess it's hard to describe now that I think about it, but all of these are walls, the thicker parts, and then these are like entranceways. This area right here is like the actual it's like a dirt path, basically. And it's got mud ceilings on it. These are mud walls, too. And that's all it is. It's a very simple arrangement. We do start off with a set of goods. We've got a bit of stone, wood, grain, rations, and livestock. Good. So, what we'll do first is terraform. We're just going to chop a few trees down in the general area here, just to clear some of the way. And then the first thing that we're going to do is build a small warehouse. See, we don't want to leave our goods just sitting in the throne room, because then we don't really know what we have and whatnot. So we use a logistics center called a warehouse. And I want to put some space in here as well so that people can get through. 2 wide should be fine for now. We're just going to make a very small warehouse like this, probably. And then I guess I should probably mention what I'm doing here. So the first thing we do is define the shape. And that's with this button. And then expand room over structures. Not sure if I've ever used that button. Anyway, so you just click and drag and form the dimensions of the building that you want. I'll make it 8 by 6, I think, and then look at it from there. And then we'll release our left click, and it has this area. These white squares here are the walls. And if we want to shrink the room, we can. So if, say we want to remove this spot, we can click the shrink room button, click here, and then boom. It moves the wall in, and this space is now outside of the room. This used to be kind of important, but it no longer is. So you can modify the rooms to fit any dimensions you want, and we will be doing that. We will be shrinking it around certain spots to make, to be more conservative of our space. And I'll kind of show you what I mean by that here in a minute. For now, we need to put down crates. This is actually the item that's for the storage of goods. So this is what we're kind of trying to achieve with the warehouse, is have a set of crates for everything. What you'll see on the screen here is this set of boxes. Each of the square icons here, like this one that I'm highlighted on right now, each of these is an actual crate. And so this is literal. The goods will be put into this crate. And so if your people want to come along and pick up stuff in this crate, they'll actually have to walk up to this plus sign to grab it. And the spot in front of it is actually where they will go and load and unload. So, so obviously you can't cut that off. So you can use Q and E to increase and decrease the size of the room. It takes some getting used to, so don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh man, what do I do in here? You can also click plus and minus until you get used to it, but trust me, you'll want to get to the point where you are using Q and E. And then also R. R will rotate it. So you can just click R a bunch of times and rotate it around. So anyway, we're going to try to build a warehouse that stores our stuff. And as you can see here, we've already... Oh, okay, well I guess we could just do that. So I try to be very mechanical with my building, and so this kind of stuff bothers me because I'm also OCD. But anyway, this will work just fine. So as you can see here, we have a total of 4 by 5 crates, so that's 20. It'll also show up here how much storage it can do. I think it's 20 times 80. Yes. So each crate holds 80 by default. Anyway. We can change what type of room, what type of walls it will be built out of, I mean. So the default is mud. It uses nothing. It doesn't require any resources, but it has a lot of labor, so it takes a while to build. Instead, we could do grand buildings, which uses a special type of stone, which we don't have. I'm not sure why the order is like this. The wood should be up here, and the grand building should be down here. But anyway. This is stone. We do have some stone. We could build it out of stone. But Tilapi, the race that we started, they like wood. They don't like stone. So we're going to do it out of wood, which is this one right here. So they will build it out of that, and then it adds the cost down here for the walls. The wooden ceiling. Yep. And then they'll build these walls out of wood as well. You can auto-build walls around the room as long as you leave that checked. If you turn this off, it will remove the walls, and then you'll have to put them in later, which you can do pretty easily, but it's also easier to just let it build the walls for you, you know? Anyway, this option is what allows us to place doorways here. So we have to build them on walls. You can see the square is red unless we move over to a wall. And then we can build them. The only thing to keep in mind with these doorways, you can pretty much put in as many as you'd like. and maybe you should, because then people can approach the warehouse from multiple directions. But you want to make sure the isolation stays at 100%. The more doorways you open, the greater the chance that your isolation will dip below 100%, and this will increase the sound pollution, as it says here, and then also increases room degradation. Bad stuff. If a room when a room degrades in this game, it costs materials to upkeep and restore the building to its former glory. So we want to we definitely want to avoid that. Right there it is. So we added a fourth doorway, and our isolation dropped to 92%. So we can click on this option to remove the doorway. We'll do that, and it's back to 100%. So what I'll do then, I will remove that doorway and then add this one. Excellent. I think we're good to go. We've got 20 crates, and then we hit construct. And then what we can do here, these are the speed options. I recommend when you're first starting to play, just leaving it on speed normal. You'll notice after a while that nothing really happens on normal speed. So they'll go very slowly. As you can see here, they're actually just kind of laying around. And then they figured out, oh, I should probably chop lumber. So that's what they're doing. These guys are, as you can see here too, hauling the wood and moving it over here. We should have enough wood to complete the building of this room. And we can just watch them work. As you can see here, we have Violet Veyron. They're a Tilapi, and they're also an odd jobber. An odd jobber is any person that doesn't have a job assigned to any particular building, or any particular like task, if you will. So we have 10 plebs, and all 10 of them are odd jobbers. You can mouse over this to see what your workforce is. As you can see here, it says we need 0. We have no jobs to give them, so we need 0 people working. But we have 10 that are employable. And so later on, you'll get like children, stuff like that, or like nobles, or like really old people that are retired. Those are no longer employees, and so they will not show up in this number. But we have 10 employees, we have 10 odd jobbers because we have no jobs, so they're going to work on any like random tasks that are set apart for us. Like chopping these trees down, building buildings, hauling, stuff like that. So we'll go over a little bit of what the screen looks like in case you are unfamiliar with Songs of Six. I'll try to bring along the try to bring the game up to speed here soon. But if you're new, this is very daunting. So first thing I want to kind of point out is at the top you have your actual time frame. So like where you are in the day. Right now it's 2:30 p.m. and you can see the sun is on the right hand side. It'll go to the right as time passes throughout the day, and that means it's, you'll actually see it get darker in the game too while we're watching. So and then also you can see this in the background. You can see the season. So we actually just hit spring. If you mouse over it, you can get more information about what's going on too. So it's day 1 of spring, year 1 of the first age. So year 1, day 1, and we're spring. Also shows the temperature. I believe it's like Celsius, probably. And then moisture is the total level of moisture, like in the air and in the environment and whatnot. And then up here you have the speed options. We can go fast, we can go really fast, we can go back to normal speed. Normal speed's really good for like trying to see how certain things are happening, or if you need to respond to something, like an event. 1x speed is good because it gives you the most control. On the right-hand side, we actually have the list of the different races down here, you can see. And at the top is the one that we chose. This will always be the case. So, plebs, Tilapis. It'll give you some basic information about them. We have a population of 10. They're not very loyal. They don't really know if they're going to survive, to be honest, so I don't blame them. We have 0 immigrants that want to come in because we don't have anything. And then we have 0 that were recently admitted from the immigrants list. And our happiness as a result is 56% so far. It'll also give you some ideas on what you can do to improve the quality of the area, of the city, I should say. For instance, we're missing access to lavatories. We're running out of food because we're going to die. We want people to tell us the news, which is the speakers. And we also want to eat other people. So, fair. Fair. Alright, so this warehouse is coming along. They're still chopping trees and whatnot, too. Everything looks good. Up here is the newly designed, like, general information screen. So in here we can see how many goods we have, how many we've produced, how many we've earned as far as like selling goes, you know, how much money we've earned from it, and then the buy and sell price. And you can mouse over it too to see how much money you've made from it, whether or not there were taxes on it. The game gets really involved. So you can keep track of everything in here, and you can also change your import and export settings, which we'll get into in greater detail later. Your treasury is literally just that. This is how much money you have up here at the top. We have 0. Might be part of the reason why they don't like to live here. We also have no tourists. That's a late game thing. And then here we have our technology screen, which we'll also get into later, but we can improve our plebeians' ability to, you know, do all kinds of work. Everything in the game can really be improved, to be honest. So this is where we go to upgrade that. And then factions. So these are the people that we saw on the map. 2,000 Cretonians. It's a good thing they are docile people. On the right-hand side as well, too, it gives you a general overview of the total amount of goods that you have in your entire city-state. You'll notice we have nothing. However, we have this number is in white, and this number is in red. This number in white means that we actually do have some of this. I don't know why the game starts us off with a bit of grain. It's possible that they want us to make a grain farm right away. But we don't do that. We're Tilapi. Maybe we should, but it's fine. Anyway, the fact that we have a white number here means, though, that we do actually have them. Anything that's out on the map that isn't, you know, like anything that's chopped down, like this wood right here, this is ours. But it's just, right now we have no place to put it. So you will see, as soon as we get this warehouse done, people will start to move all of these goods from the throne, and even from right here into the warehouse. And the reason why it's in red is because we actually don't have any of those. They don't exist at all anywhere. So, the next thing we want to do is get a orc pasture in. And for this, we kind of do want to look a little bit at the fertility. It's mostly affected, these pastures, you really want to bring water into them. So we'll do these on the right-hand side, and eventually one day we'll be able to pull in water from the stream. You know, and make it better for the orcs. Yeah, actually, we have live orcs right over here, so we'll just put them right over here. We'll do a relatively small pasture for now. That should be fine. And then, so this is 20 by 16. It'll also say up here how many workers we'll need. 3. It'll output 7 a day. I believe that means 7 meat a day, because they actually output more than just one thing. Anyway, the current efficiency is 50%. It'll cost 32 wood to build. So we have to build a gate to get in. It won't let us build the room without it. So we'll build it right there. And the arrow has to be pointing to the wall. And then we need to build huts. Now, as you can see, these huts, what they are for is they're just basically small shacks where your animals can relax. And when you use this option, it'll tell you what it does. So in the middle of the screen right now, it says it's a 2x2 square. It'll use 200 wood to build this, but then it will increase the efficiency of the total pasture here by 0.5. And as you can see at the top, our efficiency is 50%. If we click that, it now moves up to 100%. So it says 0.5, but it actually means that 50%. And a lot of the bonuses in this game are expressed in terms of like 0.1 or 0.2, but they actually tend to be like 20% boosts. The thing is, it's not exactly like a 50% boost because all of your bonuses get multiplied in together in a formula, and so it's actually more than that in total, especially as time goes on, but this will work. So I just hit Q to reduce the size of it, and now it's going to give us 0.48, which is just a little bit shy of what we need. But it'll cost us less wood, so let's do that. Okay, so each of these is going to cost us 20. We already have 82% efficiency. Let's build another one right here. Okay, we just need one more. Oh, we can't build it. We can't build it one by one, unfortunately. So that's fine. We'll just put it right there for now. We'll scrap this later and have a better pasture for sure. So anyway, it's going to cost us way less wood. So it does make sense to kind of look at the building construction a little bit more and plan it out a little bit better. Because you can save a lot of resources and get the same result. So anyway, construct. What we can do too, these odd jobbers will kind of, usually they go for the most current job that they have, and it's usually like within the proximity of, I believe, the throne room, if I'm not mistaken. So they'll always aim for tasks around here. If we want them to prioritize the orc pasture, then we should probably look to suspend jobs, which you can do down here in this menu. There's a lot of other nifty abilities, nifty tools that we have in this menu that we'll use later. But suspend jobs is a nice one. We can just basically deactivate this pasture or deactivate the warehouse temporarily to have them focus on it. They're almost done with the warehouse, so we'll keep letting them do what they're doing. They're also chopping the trees down too, which is good because we are going to need all this wood for this pasture. Looks like things are going pretty well. So you can scroll in and out, just like we did when we were placing the capital. I use the middle scroll wheel. Makes this easier, and then you can zoom in on what's going on. At some point we will break into this mountain, but that's a long ways away, I think. I just noticed we put our city right next to Smilodons. That's what this icon is. These are Smilodons right here. These things are deadly, fast killing machines. Luckily, they're omnivores, but they will run down any other grounded animal in the game, including Tilapis. So these things can be vicious. It looks like there's only one, but this one could probably kill all of us. So we'll try to be respectful of the nearby killing tiger here. And, I mean, it's an omnivore, right? So as long as he gets his veggies, he should be okay. As you can see here, too, we've got the walls coming, or not the walls, but the ceilings coming up. You can see that kind of expand outward from one of the edges as they work. So it's coming along. You can also, if you just mouse over the construction, you can see the progress. So they've cleared 100% of the room. They've brought in 26 of the 78 wood that's required to build it. And they're still working. As you can see, some of them are grabbing wood to bring it over. As these odd jobbers finish up their tree cutting task, they will come over and help out with this as well. provided there's room to do so. In this warehouse, all 10 people should be able to find a spot to, you know, sit down and start hammering away like this person's doing. It's actually day 2 already. It's early morning, so it's still dark out. We can remove the overlay now. Oh, it's actually already sunrise, gotcha. So we kind of skipped night. We had the overlay on, so we didn't get to see what it looks like, but we'll see it in more detail here soon. 2 people are homeless, which is weird because all 10 of them should be homeless. We'll sort out houses for them here in a bit. Yep, the ceilings are coming up. And we'll do 2x speed just to get them to finish their work here really quick. There's the Smilodon getting extremely close. Maybe we should have avoided this thing. Anyway, okay, good. They've hauled all the materials in, so once that stage is done, they actually do the construction process, which is what they're doing right now. So they'll hammer all of the different spots and tiles, and that'll be it. Interestingly, in this version, it shows cleared decreasing while construction is increasing. But whatever. It used to mean that when it wasn't cleared fully, some work needed to be done on the floor. But it looks like they kind of changed the process for building a bit. Looks like it constructs and then clears, and then constructs more or something. Kind of weird. I haven't quite figured it out yet. This version is only like a week old, I think. And so a lot of this stuff will probably change too. You know, as Jake goes through and figures out what works best and whatnot. Alright, it's done. Whenever you finish a building, we're actually going to pause the game. Whenever you finish a building, you get a little alert up here saying constructed rooms. You can click on it, and it will zoom you in, sort of, to the warehouse. We can rename it Warehouse. And we can upgrade it if we want. We can also select the radius with which this warehouse will do work. If you zoom out enough to right here, you can see how far the warehouse will look for items. So as long as it's within this range, the warehouse will collect the items. You can see it doesn't go to the right-hand side of the map, and that's because we have no path over there. It's literally a deep river that cuts right across through here. So if we want to tap into this side of the land, we will have to build a pathway at some point. But as soon as we do add a pathway, because the radius is set to 100%, it shouldn't envelop this whole map. So we can hire workers for here called delivery men. These people will be solely in charge of bringing resources from the map into crates. That's all they do. We can set the number of workers. We could actually leave it on auto-employ, and the game will try to fire and hire people, you know, when it needs more people, or, you know, fire people when it doesn't need people, obviously. So you can check that, leave it on so that it automatically scales as the game runs. For now, we'll just leave it at 0, actually. We don't really... Well, I guess we could leave it on 1 person. As soon as we change the target here, so we have 0 employees, and we have a target of 1 employee. As soon as we change that, though, one of the odd jobbers went away. So in our workforce screen, it now says that we need 1 person for the workforce, and we have 9 odd jobbers now. So this person that we just hired is going to be a full-time delivery person, and they're just going to haul. For now, let's have them store this grain that we have for now. It'll probably rot, to be honest. Same thing with the rations. And then, yep, stone, and then wood. By the way, what I'm doing here is I'm adding 1 crate for these different types of resources. And if you remember, we have 4x5 crates, so 20, and we've used 4 out of 20. So I've clicked one time, one crate for each. And like I said, each crate holds 80 things. So we're going to be able to hold all of our stuff here. We could even haul in the livestock too. But we won't do that actually because we're going to need it for this. So we'll leave it. We'll keep a crate of fruit, mushrooms, veggies, meat. Might even do fish here in the future. And I don't know if we'll get any eggs. We'll leave that alone for now. I think this is fine. So we have 11 more crates that we can assign for various goods. You know what? Actually, we're going to add furniture down here too, which we'll start building soon. Alright. So we'll let the game run and just see what kind of happens. So now the odd jobbers should be focused entirely on the oric pasture. But as you can see, they're not doing anything, and that's because we have no wood anymore. And they need wood. So let's go ahead and terraform and fell some trees. This looks like a good spot. Try not to do too big of a task with this. Your odd jobbers can get overwhelmed a little bit. At least early on in the game. Later on, it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, here are the orics. These are the guys that we want to pull into our pasture. Unfortunately, we won't be like just going out there with, as you know, like a cowboy or something and just roping them in. We'll be using these livestock in order to form a pasture. So we'll see what happens there. In here, you can build all sorts of farms, though. All sorts of pastures. We can have a fishery. We can set up our mines, clay pits. We can even, have our bakery and brewers and whatnot. Crafting is all of the physical good crafting as well, actually including rations, which I guess we'd count too. And then we can also make a hunter here, our cannibal. Our people do like that. I usually don't build them even though they like it. But yeah, if you want to have them eat people, by all means. They do enjoy that kind of thing. They are territorial and bloodthirsty guardians of the forests, which we are presently chopping down. In fact, I did create too many jobs, so I'm going to delete some of these jobs, just to make sure that they get this done. The other thing that you really want to do in your first year, too, is, if you remember on the map, we have these various like fruits, herbs up here, more fruit, opiates, mushrooms, veggies, grains, all of this stuff we want, right? It only grows towards the end of summer. So what you can do to make sure that you gather it, because if you don't tell them to gather it, they will not touch them. So we actually have to tell them to gather stuff, which is forage. In this menu, you can choose what kinds of stuff that you want. We want all, so we'll just leave it on all. And the overlay shows us, like right here's some stuff to forage. What I like to do, though, is click and drag and then just move down to the other side of the map. Boom. So now all of the objects on the map that we can forage are set to forage. But if we mouse over it, it'll tell us that it needs to be late summer. And it also says that there's one opiate here in this spot. There's another one right there. There's two more right there. You get the idea. So we'll actually haul in that number of goods when we go out there to chop the tree down a little bit. Or collect the herbs, I should say. Alright, as you can see, our delivery man is doing their job too. We've hauled in stone. We've got 76 in here, and by the way, it's also telling us that when it's highlighted in red like this, this bar, it means that we're basically full, or near full capacity. So if we wanted to be able to store more stone, we would just come in here, add a crate for stone. And now it'll show you that we're about half of our storage capacity full. So this is what the delivery man does. Went out there, saw wood, collected it, hauled it in. And then she's also hauling it in from the throne room here. Okay. Speed up the game a bit. As you can see here, they finished. One of them had some time to go haul some wood. They'll haul wood from the closest area, so that's why they came over here instead of the warehouse, which is good. It helps the delivery man's job here. And in fact, I don't think we need the delivery man anymore. Odd jobbers will haul to warehouses when they're free. They're not building anything. They're less efficient at it than dedicated delivery men, but they will do it. They will help you out in that regard, so you don't need to, make sure that you have a delivery man. It's just an optional extra. Later on, it'll be very important to have them because stuff will be moved all the time. And that's why I kind of think of warehouses as more of like logistics centers than anything else. So that's how they behave. They're more like shipping. They're like shipping receivables, you know? People will come into the warehouse to take goods as well. Anyway, I think we should start to look at some common services for our city. We do have them building the Auric pasture right now, so they'll finish that soon. But it would be nice to kind of have some stuff to look forward to in the city. One of them would be a well. So let's build a well right there. Another common... the wells, by the way, they used to produce water. Now they are just used for bathing, I'm pretty sure. So in case that... it says that it irrigates nearby land, but as far as I know, it does not do that whatsoever anymore. This used to be a good way to bring in like a little bit of sweet water in the area. We could build a lavatory. If you mouse over it, it tells you what you need to build the building. And as you can see here, it says it needs wood, and that stool and desk thing is called I forgot the name. Furniture. So we'll have to actually make furniture before we can actually build a lavatory. We could perhaps build a food stall, though. Food stalls will go through and collect food, of course, and then make it available for collection from your plebs. They like getting their food from a food stall as opposed to walking to the warehouse to grab it. So that's the benefit. I think instead, though, we should probably try to get food. So we need to think about what kind of farms we want to build. I like doing a orchard. The fruit orchard is really good for the Tilapi. If you right-click, by the way, on the citizens, you can look at basically everything that they are looking for in life. And what I mean by that is, like on this population screen, they don't like it when wrongful deaths occur. None have occurred, so they're liking everything here. They want nobility. We don't have any nobles, so this bar is not full at all. They don't like immigrants. We haven't had any immigrants, so that's good. They don't like slaves, and you can mouse over it to see it says it's disliked by your plebs. We don't have any slaves, so that's good. We are also the majority, so they like life right now because they are the dominant power. In access, it will actually tell you what food they actually have access to. and the target amounts of like rations. So the target amount of food basically that they'll go out and eat. It'll also, when you mouse over them, tell you who prefers what food. In case you didn't know, Tilapis like eggs, fruit, and then I think meat. So these are the three things that we want. Eggs are kind of hard. I think the only way you can get them now is by Globdian pastures, which are like turtles, basically. And then maybe even hunting, like, if we have some around here. I think you can hunt, yeah, these things. Denoris. They're like majestic birds. Unfortunately, you can't farm them. But you can hunt them down. So, we'll look to get fruit and meat in. Meat is a lot easier. We don't need too much to get started with that. We just need a hunter. And we've already come at our impasse. The hunter now requires carpentry. So we need to build some benches first before the hunters can come in and hack apart animals. It makes sense, but we need to get this carpenter up then. So let's try to get that done. That's going to be under crafting, and then carpenter. By the way, you can scroll through this list in case you're not finding what you're looking for. So carpenter. Let's see. I think we'll build it over here. Make it too wide. And I kind of do want to make this a little bit bigger. I may not use all of the space for now. But we want to make sure that we have enough room for plenty of employees in the early game here. So one thing you'll notice this time it looks a little bit different. We have a issue here. In the center, these yellow tiles mean that the building doesn't have enough support, basically. And so, and it's because the walls are just too far away. So if we use the shrink room tool, we can actually create pillars in the center of the room. So we shrunk the room right here. This pillar adds support in the area. We can add another one right there, and it completely eliminates the yellow. And you can see this here, the effect when you don't do this. It's outlined right here. It says 66%. When the rooms are built too deep or wide, you'll need extra materials just to build and maintain it. So it's definitely not worth it. You can see the difference right here, 56 of each, plus 120 wood. Boom, 24 of each and 118 wood. So it's more than half, the base cost for the actual building itself. Yeah, definitely a good idea to make sure that you do not have, this penalty at all. So that's what we did. We added a pillar. All that's good. Luckily, it maintains the fact that we are using wooden walls, so we're good there. We'll build some entranceways. And as you can see here, we have 3 different options for stuff that we can put in here. So storage is literally just the internal storage for the produce. When they get done making a shelf, they will put it in the storage, as opposed to walking it out all the way to the warehouse. That would be inefficient, right? That's why they have the storage room in the center. So we can add, it's exactly just like the warehouse here, it's just a set of crates. The workbench, however, is where they actually work. So each of these chair things on our mouse here is a worker spot. So if I put that down, well, actually it's 2. Oh, it's 2 because this is a small storage area too. So one person is crafting, the one person is actually making the bench, and another person is hauling wood in so that it can be made into a bench. So anyway, we want more than that though. Ooh, okay. So we'll do that. If we decide that we want to change the layout of the room, we can shrink it like that. Okay. Now it's nice and flush, so my OCD isn't killing me. We'll put a couple more workbenches on the sides, and we'll use the R key to rotate. So we can add auxiliary stations. And then another thing to keep in mind when you're like designing your rooms here is you want to make sure that they can walk around. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you don't like needlessly congest your areas here. So we can put a couple things right here next to the wall. We can even do this. So it just makes like an extension of the pillar, so to speak. We're already up to 96%, so that's pretty good. The shortest we can go is 2 wide here. We'll put it right there, I think. Or no, let's put it right there so we can put storage right here. Or we could put storage right here. See, we have, yeah, I think this should be fine. This'll work. It's just a basic building. We'll make a more finely tuned building in the future. It looks kind of funny, but it'll work. These auxiliary stations somehow will work like this, despite being like crammed together. So we've already got our doorways here. We've got a storage spot. We've got plenty of walkways here. Let's see if we can add more doorways over here. Good, and over here. So now people can come in through here as well, and right here. Excellent. So it'll cost 61 stone, 95 wood, plus the 112 wood for the walls. This looks pretty good to me. It will hire ultimately up to 21 people. It's max efficiency, and it'll produce 15.75 furniture a day. So we'll build it. In the meantime, our Auric pasture is finished, and it automatically started employing 4 people. The pastures, I do recommend making sure that you leave them on auto-employ, and the reason is because more animals will come in here over time, and as they do, they will use up more. They'll need more employees basically to keep them alive. If you fail to do this, the animals will come in, not get tended to, and then promptly die. So we want to avoid that. This pasture can only hold 9 animals anyway. It needs 78 ticks of tending, basically. So if the workers fail to do the tending, the animals will start to die. Pretty straightforward. Our species is very good at this. So this is why our skill is 210%. If you mouse over it, you can see the modifiers. The climate is good. That was that 50% buff that we talked about. And then our species gives us a 40% buff, or a 0.4 buff. And this is why I wanted to highlight that. When you get a 0.1 buff, it's not just 10%. As you can see here, it gets multiplied. So that's what this is. So it's 2... We actually have a 210% skill. So more than twice as good as just some regular Joe Schmo race, like a Kryptonian or something, trying to handle an Auric pasture. They're bad at it. We're the kings of the Auric pasture. So we will be building epic ones of these. This is just a starter one. Alright. And as you can see here, we now have 4 people employed and 6 odd jobbers. Most of them are working on this well right now, and then they'll move over to the carpenter. Okay. So we'll speed up the game just a bit. Let time pass in this beautiful game. They have reworked a lot of elements in this game. It is a lot more visually appealing. It used to do these like flashes on the screen, in the day-night cycle change. Now look at it. Just light disappears from the land. Perfect. By the way, these pastures get filled up with animals from that livestock stuff that we had over here. So that's why you can see the hunters are pulling in the livestock over. If your livestock is too far away from the pasture, you can bring it in closer with a hauler. We'll talk about that in a bit. But that is an option if you want to bring the materials in to be closer. But other than that, it produces leather, meat. It's already got one meat and one leather right there. So it's already working. It'll produce 2 a day right now. And actually, it should get a little bit better. Maybe even 3.5 a day or something. This isn't enough to feed us, though, I don't believe. We're going to need more than that. Luckily, spring or summer is coming. And so in late summer, we'll be able to forage for you know, fruit and whatnot, which we also like. Another ideal thing, though, would be to get this hunter up and running. But we are kind of at the mercy of our odd jobbers right now. Once they finish this well, they will move over and help out with this too. This might be a little bit too big for us, but we will use it. So don't worry about building too large in this game. But to start, you can be a little bit more efficient if you build, you know, like a small warehouse like this, and maybe even a smaller carpenter station would have worked just fine. I know we're going to do a lot of carpentry around here, so I kind of went for like a more medium-sized, small to medium-sized type building here. But I just wanted to point out, don't be too scared to build big. Just make sure that you, you know, respect the fact that your people need to eat, mostly. Yeah, we're only getting 3.3 here. 5 people tend to it. Maybe it would have been nice to be a little bit bigger now that I think about it. You can refurbish the room. If you click this button, and it'll say, warning, all employees get fired if you do this. I don't know what it does to the animals. Might have to try that. We do still have 5 livestock to start up a new pasture, though, if we need to. So, anyway. Looks like they're still working on clearing the area. Oh, they're actually working on construction. It's good, so there it is. Boom, done. Well, which we will call the well. So the reason why we wanted to get this thing up and running is if you right-click on the people again, we have different categories. It's not just population or access, you know, for food and whatnot. We can also see what kind of services they have. As you can see here, we had nothing going forward for us for a while. And then now all of a sudden, we have well access. We click on services to get a better overview. It says people have a well now. So 20% of the people have used the well. Now 30% of people have used the well recently. And they like life a little bit better because of that. You can see the loyalty rising a little bit more because of the well. So the target is increasing, and it kind of gradually shifts to where the target is. So just like in real life, if you build a well that people want to use, they don't recognize that it's there right away. They actually have to go out and use it, and then after they've used it, obviously, that's when they're happy about it. So it attempts to mimic that behavior pretty well, I would say. Another nice thing that we can build here for entertainment is a speaker. This is a nice, it's a nice little stand where someone will come out and shout news at people. So if you want to think like Fox News or CNN, that's this. Or, you know, name your own news outlet in your own country. So this will be something that employs one person. But yet again, also will improve the amount of services they have, because right here is speakers access. They don't care about it as much as other things, but it is a helpful thing to have. Another thing that we'll want to have around is a hearth. I think that's under... yes, other. We'll put it right next to the well. And you do want to be careful. I guess the only real big thing to be careful of if you're new to Songs of Six is not to do what I just did, is, you know, queue like a bunch of different construction things at the same time. Because then they'll split their jobs here. As you can see, you have one person mining over here, four people, building this thing, and then now 2 people have come over here to help out with the hearth. Meanwhile, this thing is like half built, so something to keep in mind is to just do things one at a time. And if you do make a mistake, you can always suspend those jobs like I mentioned before. Another thing that we should mention, since it's happening right now, is we have a herder over here that's come over to help out with the hearth. And the reason for that is their workload for the day is completed. They're already at 78 of 78, and it's halfway through the day. The game actually fired one of the Auric Pasture guys because it's not needed anymore. But anyway, since they have so much free time, they'll come over here and help out with some odd job tasks too, when time allows. Excellent. I think we'll keep this going. It's not that much work. They'll get it done later. But when you start crafting like very grand things, it pays to be very, to be more patient and diligent there with not just building everything. Let them take their time. This is a game meant to be enjoyed over hours. You can let them play it out. And of course, if you are impatient, you can always speed up the game too. Let them do things faster. This is yet another one of those types of games where, I just, personally at least, I just like to sit there and let it run. I am one of those psychopaths that has played a game before on 1x only speed, which you might imagine can be a little bit excruciating when you're waiting for stuff like this to happen. But it is what it is. I like the feel of knowing what Olivet Zarelic is up to today, and seeing kind of how she walks around too. And like I said, it can give you a good idea about how your efficiency is too. So where you can improve or like rearrange buildings to make life a little bit easier for your citizens. These are all positives. So anyway, we will go back to 2x speed so it's not too boring for you. Yeah, they're working on mining out the stone beneath it. Maybe we should have suspended one of these jobs. Let's do this. We'll suspend this one. They'll work on the speaker then. By the way, when you're in the suspend jobs, you can also shift. Hold down shift and it moves to activate jobs. So, boom, I just activated the hearth again. So we have our speaker, our sparker. Automatically hires one. You can turn off employment temporarily if you want, but you pretty much just accept the fact that you lose a guy to that. So he's spreading news, just like that. This is exactly how a news outlet works in real life. Just get a guy on top of a podium, and then they start yelling. Okay. We might not have enough wood, actually. So, in fact, we definitely don't have enough wood. So what we'll do for now is we'll suspend the carpenter job. And we will chop down trees. So we'll try to be a little bit more precise here. We'll try to get some wood in, and then get this hearth done. They'll like that a lot, and then we'll build the carpenter. Yeah, we might have gone a little bit too big with this. 200 wood is a bit much right now. People are still complaining about being homeless. It's fine. They'll get over it. A year or two without shelter is just something you're gonna have to accept, you know. Workload's a bit low here still too, so I guess the game will probably fire the fourth person there soon too. The number of days that we have food is starting to dwindle, so that's a problem. Luckily, soon, the vegetation will be available for harvest. One thing I did want to know, if you remember we started with 40 grain, everything spoils in this game. So it is kind of wise not to keep a bunch of stuff that you don't plan on using, because you're literally letting it rot. This grain is one of those things. So I'm not sure why we got a bunch of grain. I think it would have been better if we got just like 40 fruit instead. That would have been kind of nicer. Grain you can't eat by itself. You have to bake it. I don't think we can even learn how to make a bakery. Yeah, it's under refine. Oh no, I guess we can do bakeries now right off the bat. Okay. I guess we could have made a bakery, but that's fine. We're gonna build more sustainable food sources that are better for us anyway. Like, we're gonna add the hunter. That'll work out well. Right now we are eating the rations, so we aren't starving, so that's good, but we are gonna need to figure out our food situation soon. So as soon as we get some benches in here, we'll get a hunter to help out with food. This green flashing that you saw over here on the Tilapis just means that they are liking life a little bit more. That's because people are shouting the news at them. So they appreciate it. For some reason. Hurry up and finish the hearth so they like that more. And the reason why I'm focusing on this is because right there, now we have a little arrow next to them. One immigrant would like to join us. So if we double click that, they join. So now we have 11 Tilapis with us. This increases our workforce. Of course, it also increases the amount of people we need to feed. But we're going to fix that soon. We just need more workers to build and chop trees and whatnot. In fact, they're almost done with this hearth. So let's terraform, remove more trees. They're clearing the terrain right now, so they're almost done with this hearth. Stone takes a while to pick up off the ground. It's not just actually stones, it's like serious rocks, you know what I mean? So, we're getting closer to the middle of summer, so we're gonna have to stop our work. Hopefully we can get this hearth done first. But only one person can work on it at a time because there's only one tile left to clear. Looks like he's done with it now, so they're gonna start hauling in the goods. Just 2 more wood. There it is. This is why, by the way, I didn't want to keep a delivery man around right away. You don't really need him. We're doing very small scale work right now. You know, it's kind of funny how this one guy is able to just do it. We are on 2x speed though, so time is moving along pretty fast. These jobs are unclaimed now too, so we will suspend our tree chopping jobs and have as many people go out to forage as possible. Of course, we'll leave the hearth up because they'll like it that we have a hearth here soon. So they are going out to get some of this cotton. This fruit is the big thing that we need. Should have enough time for it. Now they've got the hearth done. Hearth. You don't have to rename them, of course, but... There we go. I'm pretty sure they can walk through these tiles, too, so you don't have to worry about them, yeah, you can see them just run through right there. So this does create a path still that they can utilize. Unlike the walls that they cannot walk through, of course. Yeah, they're a magical people, but not that magical. Okay, so they're working on it. Hopefully... Okay, they took the opiates there. We might have to, for this one, turn off foraging on some things. I'm actually not sure where they are. If you zoom out enough, you can see their blue dots. All of your people have a blue dot, as you can see here. That small blue dot there is a person. Where are our people? Ah, they're over here at the grain. So, you know what we'll do? We will tell them to go somewhere else. I don't know why they're choosing to go down... where are they going now? Oh, they're getting the mushrooms there. Okay. I would have preferred them to go up here to get these fruits, but, oh well. The reason why I'm doing this and being very careful here is because they only have a limited amount of time. Eventually, the window for which they can forage these crops will disappear. And we kind of want to make sure that they aren't spending their time getting grain, which is just going to spoil. We want this fruit. Perfect. Good. Yep, they're going to get this fruit too, hopefully. So this should be enough food to get us through the winter, especially with the hunter. We do have the meat coming in, so they'll eat that. And remember, they like meat too. So they will appreciate that, that access that they have. They would like it if more food was around. As you can see here, it's only going to take 3 days before we starve. So we do want to increase our food production. Even if we're not going to use all of it, it just helps make them happier too. So something to keep in mind. But remember that with that issue of spoilage that we talked about, meat actually spoils at 100% rate. So that means after you collect a piece of meat in 1 year, that meat will be gone no matter what. So it's use it or lose it. It doesn't matter if you have too much, obviously. If you're making too much, later on we will actually export those goods. Just something to keep in mind, though. Anyway, looks like they're finishing up the harvest soon. And I think that's a good time to call the episode right there. I hope you all enjoyed. For those of my viewers that are wondering why this isn't a Xiandao or sect building game, we're still playing those. I play Songs of Six periodically whenever I get the hankering for it. And I wanted to try out the new update. I played around with it a bit already, but it's very new. I would recommend anyone that buys the game to just install the beta. It's so radically different, and obviously the game is going to be moving to this version anyway. You may as well start with ea65 is what this one's called. So feel free to do that. You do have to enable the beta in Steam if you buy it. I believe the game is $25 if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty reasonable. But if you want to try an older version of the game and just see how it runs for yourself and see if you like the game after all, you can install an earlier version of the game for free. So that's his kind of like demo philosophy with the game. So you can try an older version and see if you want to buy the new one. With that, though, I think we will continue this next time. Hope you enjoyed, of course, and I'll see you then. Peace.